data science was something that I actually was interested in. I'll tell you about it in the coming part of our presentation. So getting double placement was a dream come true. So fintech role in my previous company as well in Fractal Analytics. During my interview, I remember I asked them if there is a finance role. And for Simpl, I actually got in touch with some of the employees as well through LinkedIn, right? So basically, aptitude test had 10 questions, right? 10 questions out of which I attempted around 8 to 9. So interview was around 1 to 1.5 hours of duration. So focus on quality over quantity. That's what I'll say. For basic machine learning, you have to, in data science, there is not only machine learning, there is EDA as well, exploratory data analysis. There is data.
Welcome back to UpScale Talks. We are beginning with a new series wherein we thought why not share the experiences of your seniors placed into their dream profiles and dream companies. So this series will enable or give you the better sense how actually the interviews goes. Like we are going to cover multiple profiles and multiple companies, all of them what you wanted us to cover. So by having a lot of review from all of you, and we have now begun with this series. So we thought why not start with the data science profile that has been creating a lot of buzz around the corner. So for today's session we have Aditya Jain, who is currently having double offers. So first of all, he was placed at Fractal Analytics and then he was placed at the Simpl. So both of the opportunities were provided to him on campus. So Aditya, can you just brief us more about yourself, about your journey, and then we can move ahead with the session?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, Arjit, thank you for having me on UpScale Talks. So it's been a pleasure. And so it's actually lovely. I love to talk about my journey. So coming to, first of all, let me give a brief introduction about myself. I'm currently in my final year at Delhi Technological University, pursuing major in electronics and communication. So now coming to the profile thing. So basically, data science was something that I actually was interested in. I'll tell you about it in the coming part of our presentation. So yeah, that's it. I'll get to it in the later part of the videos as well. But yeah, so getting double placement was a dream come true. So yeah, let's go.
So perfect, Aditya. Congratulations to you on that. So I think we can move ahead with the session. So I think we will focus about the Simpl and its process in this session, and we will probably try to cover Fractal in another video. So that is we can make a different video for that. So for the Simpl one, I would like you to tell us more about the Simpl. What actually does it do? What is actually the business model? And all of that stuff. And if then later, then you can tell us more about the process, how actually it happened, and what was the role, and all other things that you are in a better position to explain.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, let me tell about Simpl. So actually, Simpl is a first-time recruiter here. It's actually a relatively new company, right? It's a startup. So what exactly is it? This startup is in fintech domain. So I personally was very much interested in fintech domain. I actually wanted a fintech role in my previous company as well in Fractal Analytics. During my interview, I remember I asked them if there is a finance role available, finance data science role. So the Simpl thing was actually I was very eager to be part of this company. So what essentially Simpl does is that it provides you loan, right? It provides you can say small loans, not very big loans, small loans of around, starting with 2,500, it can go up to 10,000, 20,000 per month, interest-free loans for that period. And it has all different merchants, you can pay it. So buy one, pay later scheme. So this is actually essentially the thing that Simpl is all about, buy now and pay later. So it's a relatively new company and it's growing at a relatively good pace. And the main, you can say unique selling point for this company when it came on campus was, it came around December, I guess, Archit, on around 3 or 4th December. I remember, if you remember correctly, it was around 3 or 4th December, and it had received its Series B funding of $40 million US dollars around 1 week ago only. So that's why, that was one of the plus points for me to actually apply for this company, because it's growing, it's receiving a Series B funding as well. So yeah, this is regarding the company. It's working in fintech domain, and I researched about the company before applying it. So this is actually a really important thing when you're applying for new companies or unheard companies. So I researched about the company a lot, and yeah, so I felt that this is a good bet, so why not go for it? So this is regarding Simpl. Buy now, pay later is the main concept, and the proper business model is a different thing, in depth thing altogether.
Yeah, got it, Aditya, got it. So, I think we can move ahead with this and, now try to focus more about the interview process. And also, I will, ask you to cover the point that you mentioned previously that, you should research about the company. So, how important do you think this is when you're applying to a company? And I have seen a lot of cases wherein people don't know just about the company and they've applied it. So, what is your advice on this as well?
Yeah, okay. So let me just, start with that question only. So see, before getting to know the process or getting into the company, first you have to research if the company has, if you are applying to a relatively new company. Let's say you are applying for Microsoft, Google. So yeah, you can apply to those companies with your eyes closed. Yeah. So that is one thing. But if you want to, go for a relatively new company or a startup as we call it, or a company that you feel has growth prospects in the future, so for that reason you should read the reviews on Glassdoor. There are multiple reviews, right? And for Simpl, I actually got in touch with some of the employees as well through LinkedIn, right? So you can say in a way I did research about the company a lot. But yeah, you can go on Glassdoor, you can read about companies on different pages. There are a lot of pages available. Glassdoor is one of them. Fishbowl is actually another one of them. And I guess Naukri.com also provides some reviews. But yeah, for new companies, you should definitely research, proper research. Not like, okay, this is a good company, yeah, I'll apply. No, not like this. Proper research backed with as to what are the growth prospects for a new company, because there are a lot of new companies that will come, because we are in India, we are in a startup age now. So a lot of new companies will come, and of course the pay was good with Simpl. So yeah, this was one of my key points. Now coming to the process, so actually it was one of, as it's written here, it's one of the first fintech firms to visit the campus this year. Before this, I don't think any startup that is especially focusing on fintech I have not heard of. So yeah, this was one of the first, and it came for three profiles mainly: data science, product analyst, and software development. So it hired only for two of them, data science and software development. It did not hire for product roles. So that is something internal. Now coming to the process, so first I'll tell the process for my data science part, because I applied for data science role only. So for the process of data science role, it was divided into two parts. So first one actually was CV shortlisting, right? They shortlisted our CVs. So it was actually, they did not shortlist us. It was just a CGPA shortlist in case of Simpl. So now coming after that, there was an aptitude test, and aptitude test was of good level. I was not expecting it to be that difficult, but it was. So yeah, I even did not expect that I'll clear this round, but yeah, I did. So basically aptitude test had 10 questions, right? 10 questions, out of which I attempted around 8 to 9, and followed by an interview. Interview was actually in the later part of the week. So interview was around 1 to 1.5 hours of duration. So yeah, you can say the whole segment lasted a week only. So now coming to the aptitude test. So first I'll give a little bit about aptitude test. So aptitude test was divided into two parts. First 10 questions were general mathematics questions, right? Mathematics, puzzle solving, the kind of questions that we get in our CAT exam. Logical reasoning questions like first person is sitting left to this, right to this, all these type of arrangement questions. Then there were puzzle solving questions wherein we had to find the missing number, right? So
okay,
all
got
these
it,
questions
Aditya, got it.
yeah. And for the coding part, there were three coding questions. All three of them were Python. So
Okay.
yeah. Now coming to the interview. So interview was a long one. Let me tell you that. For software development, they conducted two interviews, round one and round two. For data science, they conducted only one interview. So the data science interview. So Arjit, should I get in depth of all the topics?
You can just go into how was your interview, and if possible you can share some experiences out of it, how the upcoming batches can focus more on what aspects they should focus more on that it will help them clear not just Simpl but any company that is coming for the data
any
science
company
program.
related to data science. Got it. So okay. So I have appeared for two interviews related to data science only. So I think I'm qualified to answer this question for on-campus placements at DTU. So what exactly happens is that in data science, many a times I have seen students that they straight away focus on algorithms, straight away focus on models, like they study machine learning, then they study deep learning, then some of them even get to reinforcement learning. So वो सब करने की जरूरत नहीं है, साफ सीधी बात. So first of all, you need to have a basic idea about them, but you should focus on quality over quantity. That's what I'll say. For basic machine learning, you have to, in data science, there is not only machine learning, there is EDA as well, exploratory data analysis. There is data cleaning as well. So let me tell you, this takes about 70% of what your total projects look like. A data science project, only 30% is model building and all these things. So yeah, so for preparing for a data science interview, more than machine learning, what you need to study is these things. So let's say how to handle imbalance. My first question was this only. They asked me related to my project only. So how to handle imbalance in the data set, right? For a classification problem, if there is imbalance, then you need to understand how to handle outliers, right? We have an interquartile test for that. So all these different things, right? So this is that. Then you need to understand basic concepts of statistics as well, right? The confidence interval, alpha value, p value, all these things. You need to have a grasp on how these things are related to data science, how these things are related to machine learning, and how they will help me. Central limit theorem, normal distribution, Poisson distribution, all these things. So they will ask you, right? So you may think that, okay, these things are not relevant, I am just doing coding, I am importing libraries and doing this, but no, they will ask you regarding these things. So be prepared for them. Yeah.
So, Aditya, just to add on what you said, that according to me as well, I was also preparing for somewhat similar roles. So I feel that importing libraries, and you mentioned, so that is essentially the 10% part of actually what data science and machine learning looks like. So most of the youngsters are coming in and saying that, okay, I will import some library from sklearn and perform some modeling. So that doesn't work, right? What are your views on this?
That doesn't work. And actually, I'm currently interning with Simpl only at the time we are shooting this video. And let me tell you that right now it's been 3 weeks and I have not imported a single library here. We do import libraries. It's not that we don't. We do. But for the most part, we have to customize it according to our needs. So we have to write a proper function for it. So importing libraries is, you can say it's a help, but not the main part. The main part you will have to do by your hands only. So you will have to get your hands dirty for that. So yeah. And this was the data science part. You will have to understand the text cleaning, right? How do we replace the null values and all these things. Now in the machine learning part, you can, if you have, let's say you have just focused on linear regression, logistic regression, just the basic ones, random forest, then what you have written in your CV, in your resume, that's the most important thing. You should be aware about that. That's the main and primary goal. Other than this, if let's say you have studied, but you have not written in your CV, let's say CNN, convolutional neural networks, you are worrying about that, that's not important. The interviewer will not ask you that thing. So what he or she will ask you about the algorithms that you have written on your CV. If you have written logistic regression, be 110% confident as to what you are saying. That is my main thing that I'd like to say. This is for any interview, but for data science, linear regression, logistic regression, majority of interviewers will focus on these two algorithms, and some will even go up to support vector machines or random forest. So these are the main algorithms. For someone who has studied data science, they know these are the 4 main algorithms. So yeah, most of the interviews, from what I've heard from my friends as well, if they've not written something, way out of the way high level, like deep learning algorithms like LSTM, RNN, if they have not written that, so other than that, the interview usually ends on these things. So my interview lasted for around 1 hour. 1 hour, 10 minutes approximately. So yeah, this was regarding my interview.
So Aditya, you mentioned that your interview lasted approximately 1.5 hours, let's say. So you can just, if you can brief out what all aspects did the interviewer try to reach out of your CV, and was it somewhat related to your CV, and how much focus did in the interview was on your CV?
Yes. Okay. So when we when we get to the interview part, every person has a different style of taking the interview, but let me give you the overall picture. So the first and foremost thing is your projects. Every single interview that I have been to, the ones in which I got rejected and the ones in which I got accepted, every single one of them asked me about my projects, all of my projects, right? So some will even ask you about your research paper if you have written any. So projects is first and the foremost thing that you need to be totally aware of, right? Next, some interviews will ask you about your let's say internships as well, because in my case what happened was, the company's senior manager was there to take the interview, right? So she told me that she didn't have the time to go through my CV, and she wanted me to explain my CV to her in 2 minutes. complete CV with in depth of what I did, how I did, all these things. So basically, what they are essentially doing with this thing is to give you the mentality of interviewer. So what they're essentially doing is how briefly and how quickly you can explain what all you have done in your past 4 years, because essentially your CV is just that, a reflection of what you have done in your last 3 years or 4 years, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, correct. Yeah. So they do this. So many a times it will happen. They will tell you to explain your resume in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right? So in this case, they are checking with this thing only. They will check a lot of things about you if you have actually done them or not. So projects first and foremost. Next, internships. Internships are very important. Next, if interview lasts very long or interview is bored and he doesn't have anything to ask, he or she may get into your extracurricular activities, that is PORs. Those are important, but yeah, he or she may get into it, not sure. But usually with internships and with projects, the thing usually gets over. So yeah.
Okay, so I think that was very in-depth knowledge about the interview and how one should prepare for the interview. So Aditya, as far as I know the data science field, so I know that the preparation for data science does not start, a night before. So I think you might have gone through a rigorous process. So can you just brief us about how you went about your preparation, what all did in your first year, second year, third year that helped you and prepare better for the companies that are appearing for the are offering the data science role in particular?
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, I like to add into this thing further. So in my first year, so I'll just break it down quickly. So first year was full fun, maje maro full. For anyone who is listening, anyone who will listen to this video, so maje maro full first year mein. Second year will be exploring things. So I personally am, I didn't have a fixed goal. Like I see a lot of people in college and DTU only. So right from first year, they had a fixed plan that they wanted to get into this. They wanted to do this in life. So I did not have a clear goal. So, and I know that many of you will not have a clear goal. So what I did was, let me tell you my journey. First year was full of fun, do things, explore things, right? In second year, try to create a niche. Try to create something that you are actually interested in and something that you think you will be able to, pursue a career in. It can be non-tech only. My was non-tech up till second year, third year, right? So it can be data science, it can be core of your field of the branch that you are pursuing, right? So my advice will be to second year and students starting third year is try to explore different things. See where your niche is at. See what you are good at, right? Try to explore these things. And many a time students said, I don't know what I don't know what I want to do. No, that's not the answer, right? You have to figure out something. So in my second year, I started, and at the start of my second year, I learned Python during my first year only. So yeah, I learned Python. So I tried to do, I tried to go into software development as well because of the money that is there. So I tried doing that, but in 1 month only, I figured out it was not for me. In non-tech, yes. So non-tech was something that I was actually interested in getting roles. So I started working on that as well. I was part of different teams. I was part of different volunteering activities. I had different PORs as well. I had internships as well. So yeah, this is thing. Next, what I wanted to do was I, did not wanted to latch on to one thing only. Ki, okay, this is non-tech. I will do this only. So I wanted to keep my options open. So I got into data science. I started learning it. So from my second year, I started with data science. I started with basic algorithms only. In my third year, I took a college course only for machine learning, right, from COE department. So therein, I learned about all the machine learning algorithms, only machine learning algorithms, right? In third year, I took an extension of that course only, deep learning. All this while college, I'm not saying college will teach you something. College will not teach you. You will have to study on your own. There are multiple resources available in today's world on internet. There are multiple hundreds of resources available to learn data science. So in machine learning, that was that. In I guess sixth semester, I took deep learning. So I learned about CNN, RNN. So yeah, most of my sixth semester was for preparation of my placement only. So deep learning is not something that I'm very good at, but I have an idea. So that was regarding my preparation. Python, I learned, as I said, I learned in start of my second year only. And during all this time, I was improving my Python skills as well, all while maintaining a non-tech thing as well. I was volunteer for different things. I was always trying to explore different things. COVID hit during this time, so I was part of an NGO as well. So yeah, you can, it will be overwhelming, but you have to do it. You have to explore, you have to learn, and yeah, so this is, you have to keep on hustling until you are at a good place.
So I think that was very great to listen about your journey. So now I think we can move ahead with the presentation, and tell us, if you are in a better position to tell or share your experiences. That you already mentioned that first year should do this, but as a professional, what do you think a person who is trying to get into the data science stream after he graduates should focus currently on? I think you can tell us what all things he can do to make his CV better, his profile better, so that when he appears for an interview, he gets the green flag while he's appearing for it.
Yeah, okay. So, for specifically for data science, see, there are the main thing that many of the interviewers will want you to focus on. They will ask you a question regarding that. Is the model building part. Almost, if you go out in the market, 90% of data scientists will say, okay, we'll do this model. No, that's not the case. For majority of interviewers, what they are looking at is how you will do the feature selection, how you will select the features that will be fed into your model. So what essentially you have to learn is that, right? So there are different techniques for that. There are different resources available for that in data science disposal. So that is the main thing you want to learn, that you want to prepare for your interview. Now, coming to the resume part, coming to how the CV will be shortlisted and all these things. So what essentially I'll say is prepare around 2 to 3 good projects, right? Have at least 2 internships, I will say, because with data science you cannot, as I said, you cannot latch on to one thing. So because data science is a relatively new field and many companies do come for it, but not as much as software development. For software development, a plethora of companies appear. So if say you combine non-tech and data science, which is something semi-tech, so you get a whole lot of companies open for you. So that is that. So have at least 2 to 3 good projects, have at least 2 internships, I will say, and have good PORs if you can, right? PORs are not something that are really necessary, but yeah, if you have some good PORs, then it's good, right? Now, coming to the preparation part, so aptitude, so prepare aptitude. So let's say if you are preparing for a CAT exam, or if you are preparing for GRE GMAT level, apti is not, it's way above. So yeah, if you are preparing for a CAT exam, so your apti is done, but yeah, I'll recommend students to prepare for apti well, right? Now, coming to apti is just the first stage of interview. Coming to the data science profile, puzzles. One of the main things I did was puzzles. SQL is also very important. So because when we are working with data, as I have said repeatedly, model building is just one thing. Tables handling, working with tables is very important. So SQL is a very important thing. In one of my interviews, they told me, what is your strong point? So is it your core branch? That was not the coding. No, I said SQL only. So yeah, I answered that question. Yeah, if you are ever thrown this question, what is your main skill? So say something that that you will be able to answer. So yeah, that thing. And for puzzles, I said puzzles. For puzzles, I did a Geeks for Geeks thing. They have around 100 to 200 puzzles. So do that. And basic Python. They will ask very basic Python, not very extreme difficult Python to build a tree or something in that, but very basic Python codes that you will be able to solve if you are prepared from third year or before. If you are, let's say, preparing 6 months before, then you will be able to answer the Python questions. But for the data science part, because it involves a lot of mathematics understanding as well, so I recommend you to start a year before at least, or at least 6 to 8 months of preparation is required properly. Because apti part is also included in data science, aptitude is also required, and then there are different things in data science as well. So yeah, that is required for data science. And with all these things, proper delivery of what you are saying, proper communication of what you are saying, with the things, let's say this, but you have to deliver that to your interviewer as well. So that is required. And yeah, as we have written in the last point as well, practice again with your friends. Have friends like Archit Mittal, as I did. So do practice with them, practice with a lot of your friends, and to gain exposure of interview, to get that hesitation out. So yeah, this was that.
So thank you, Aditya. I think you tried to cover all the aspects and each and everything explained. You explained that in depth. So I think this would be enough for our viewers for now. We will be coming up with more and more series, more and more journeys within this series. So yeah, thank you very much, Aditya. If you have any last remarks, I will give the stage to you.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll like to reiterate on my last point only. That the last thing that I said, practice with your friends. So have friends like Archit Mittal. I had some of my really good friends who helped me. So Abhishek Sethi, Abhishek Garg, these are all few of them. So yeah, so all of us are in a good place right now. So what essentially it happens is it benefits your friend and both of you. So do that, and yeah, have friends like Archit Mittal who later come to take your interview, ask you for interview. So yeah,
Okay, thank you, Aditya. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
okay, thank you.